How much protein should you eat to build maximum muscle? That's what we're going to cover in this video. But before we go there, click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're going to learn how to be the probably 1% of all entrepreneurs out there who are not just successful, but also have a strong, healthy, high-performing body to go along with the business success. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the most common questions I get, which is how much protein should you eat if you're already lifting, you're going to the gym, you're lifting weights, hopefully properly, you're lifting them properly, okay? There's a huge difference between just being in the gym and pissing around and actually doing stuff that matters, okay, that actually builds muscle. But then once that is done, and let's say that workout is properly done and that gives incentive to your brain and body that, hey, you got to build some muscle in order to make this easier next time, which is, general adaptation to the breakdown of muscle that happens from the workout. But then we have to back that up with proper nutrition. And of course, protein is king there. Why is it king? Because protein actually builds muscle. We know that. Now, there are storages of both fats and carbs in the muscle. So storage of carbs in the muscle is called glycogen. It's stored glycogen. And there is intramuscular fat, which basically means a small percentage of muscle is actually stored fat. However, majority of muscle, like 80%, is water. We know that. But remember, the rest of the 20% of the actual muscle, just a bit less, like 18, 19, whatever percent, is actual contractile tissue, which means protein. This is like actual muscle tissue. So when we talk about how much does it take to actually build more muscle, how much protein does it take? Because protein is the actual building block. It's like if you want a wall, if you look at the wall, okay, and you want to build a bigger wall, what do you have to do? You have to put more, let's say it's a brick wall. You have to put more bricks onto the wall to make it bigger. That's what protein is literally. So of course, the question of how much protein you should eat is like a debate that's been going on for decades. Bodybuilders are known for eating obscene amounts of protein. An average person, probably including all entrepreneurs, do not eat enough protein. So we know from general stats about what everybody's doing nutritionally that we all overeat on carbs, overeat on fats, and generally overeat on total calories, which is why everybody's overweight, okay? On the other hand, we do not eat enough protein. Nobody eats enough protein. Now, why is that? Well, who knows, many reasons, we won't go into it, but it's very, very safe to say that you, right now, do not eat enough protein, okay? So, of course, the question then is, okay, what's the right amount for you? So as a general rule, anywhere from 0.7 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is what I suggest. Okay, this is scientifically proven to be the absolute best optimal way for most people. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples that really are exceptions. So when is this maybe too much or too little? So you probably heard the RDA, the recommended daily allowance set by the whoever, and it's completely wrong. It's basically 0.4 grams of protein per pound of body weight. This is absolutely not enough. It's an obsolete recommendation that truly is based on basically not dying and not being sick. That's what it's based on. It's not based for maximum hypertrophy, so maximum amount of muscle that you build. It's not based on high performance. It's not based on, let's be really healthy and truly, be at a high level. It's not based on that. It's basically based on let's not be sick and let's not die. That's what 0.4 grams of protein per pound probably is. And if you have that much, you probably won't die, but it's certainly not enough just to be at normal level. And it's most certainly way, way, way too low to be at a high level of performance where we want to be. Obviously, you want to have a bit more muscle than whatever average is, because average person is just overweight and has little muscle. So we don't want that. We want to be better than that, obviously, because you are an entrepreneur. You want to, you just want to be at a higher level. Otherwise, you just be a 9-to-5 person anyway, right? So now when we look at that, what is that like? Okay, that's a range, right? So let's say if somebody let's say you weigh 200 pounds. That means you should be eating from 140 to 200 grams of protein. That's a range of 60 grams. That's kind of a lot. You're like, okay, should I be at 150? Should I be at 200? What's better? Well, here are a couple of things that will help you kind of nail it, really narrow it down, okay? So the higher body fat percent somebody has, the lower their protein intake needs to be. Let me say that again. The fatter we are, the higher our fat percentage is, the less protein we need. So closer to that 0.7 grams, maybe 0.8 grams of protein we need. The leaner you get, and I'm talking the moment you get close to 15% body fat as a male, or less than that, let's say you get to 12 to 15%, you're starting to see your abs, okay, you need to be closer to that 1 gram of protein per pound. So the leaner we are, the lower your body fat percentage is, the more protein you need. Why? Simply because the chance of losing muscle goes up the leaner you are. So especially if somebody is, for example, 12% body fat, so they're kind of like starting to see their abs, but they want to have like full ripped six pack. So they need to lose, you know, a couple of pounds of fat and maybe go from 12% to like 10% or 9% body fat. In that case, they may actually need right around a gram of protein per pound of body weight. On the other hand, if somebody's really lean and is trying to get crazy lean, so for example, if we have a fitness model or somebody who really wants to get like completely shredded and they want to get into single digit body fat percent as a male, they will probably benefit from going a bit higher, maybe 1.2, 1.3 grams of protein per pound of body weight even. Okay, now this is extremely rare and it's probably not going to apply to like 99.99% of people out there ever. Okay, and simply because in another video we're going to talk about why I do not suggest going into single digit body fat percent at all to begin with. Number one reason is because it's unsustainable. Like if you're a natural lifter, you don't inject steroids, you're probably not going to be able to be there for any length of time, simply because your body thinks you're so lean that your body thinks you're starving, and it's just like your testosterone goes down, everything goes down, and it's just a misery of miserable existence totally. But to get completely shredded six-pack abs and be at like 10% body fat, you absolutely can sustain that. And for that, you will never need more than 1 gram of protein per pound. So generally speaking, take your body weight in pounds and go, depending on your body fat percentage. For women, it's the exact same thing. The more overweight somebody is, closer to that 0.7 grams of protein they need to start off of. And then later on, as you are, let's say on a diet, after 2-3 months, you're getting leaner, your body fat percentage is going, let's say if you're a male, it went from 25 to 20%, then 20% to 15%. Now you may actually need, or let's say benefit from 1 gram of protein per pound. Now, you probably heard some bodybuilders taking, like 2 grams per pound. Like imagine, so I'm 220, I should be eating 450 grams of protein according to some bodybuilding, stigma. No, you absolutely should not. That is ridiculous, absolutely unnecessary, has absolutely zero benefits of going above 1 gram of protein per pound for most people. The only two exceptions to that rule, so the only two ways or reasons that somebody could benefit from more than 1 gram of protein per pound is, number one, somebody's on steroids. Bodybuilders, obviously, they're all roided out, of course, juiced out of their minds. So for them, more protein may actually benefit them. Yes, because that's what steroids really do. They help you build supraphysiological, so more than natural amount of muscle. In that case, they could benefit from more protein than a natural lifter could. And two is, again, as I mentioned already, somebody's extremely lean, let's say 10% body fat, and they are a natural bodybuilder and trying to get to 6% body fat naturally. They most certainly will benefit from eating more than 1 gram of protein per pound. But again, for most of you, I not only do not suggest it, but really for most of you, you're probably never going to do that anyway. So who cares, right? So for most people, really, you should never need more than 1 gram of protein per pound. And again, this is for men and women the same. Just take your body weight, go 0.7 times that. That's probably a great starting point, because that's probably going to be way more than you're eating right now. Especially, if you look at what vegans are probably eating 20, 30 grams of protein per day, most of it, which is absolutely horrible, which is why they look the way they look, okay? But anyway, so that's the amount of protein that you should be eating. This is really, and actually one last thing that I forgot is there a 30 grams per meal of protein limit? You probably heard this, can you only benefit or digest 30 grams of protein per meal? This is absolute myth. Your body is totally capable of ingesting and taking advantage of and actually utilizing way more than that. Like in one study, they had 80% of somebody's protein per day, like 100 plus grams consumed in one meal, and then compare that to what if they consume that same amount over 4 meals. There's absolutely no difference in protein turnover, protein breakdown, or actual muscle protein synthesis. So, you're going to build the exact same amount of muscle, whether you have 3 meals or 2 meals or 6 meals. We know that it's really not that important. The most important thing, once you've actually worked out properly, and that because that's the main thing that drives hypertrophy, meaning muscle growth, the main thing is going to be the total amount of protein. This is the most important part. Now, later on in some of the other videos, we can talk about nutrient timing And that you know, how much does it actually matter when you eat, how much you eat, what you eat when it comes to building muscle for pre and post workout nutrition. But for now, remember, the most important thing is the total amount of protein. So if you have, for example, if you're a big guy, anything over 200 pounds, and you're eating 50 grams of protein per meal, that is absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if some studies show that, you know, at 30 grams per meal, you actually maximize muscle protein synthesis, meaning the amount of muscle you build, that's okay. More of that, is not wasted. More of that actually goes to digest all of the protein needs that the body has that are not just muscle. Okay, so if you think about, you know, the lean body mass, so you take, you know, in your body you have amount of fat, whatever that is, and then you have lean body mass, which is everything that is not fat. So most people mistakenly think that this lean body mass is just muscle. It is not. Lean body mass is bone, muscle, blood, organs, skin, everything in your body that isn't fat. And only about 40 to 45% of that lean body mass is actual muscle. So, you know, like for example, if we have 200 pound guy at 20% body fat, right? So he has 40 pounds of fat and 160 pounds of muscle or of lean body mass. He does not have 160 pounds of muscle. He has 160 pounds of lean body mass and about 40 to 45%, whatever that is, of that 160. That's how much muscle he has. Maybe, let's say 45% of 160, whatever, 70, 75 pounds. That's how much muscle he actually has, okay? So all of these other tissues in the body, connective tissues, tendons, ligaments, you know, all the like metabolic things, most of the things that transfer hormones and transfer things from one to the other part of the body, they're all actually proteins. They actually take stuff from here, bring it somewhere. So there's a huge need in the body for actual protein. It's not just muscle that needs protein. There's a lot of other tissues that need it. So because of that, even if per meal, let's say 20-30 grams of protein actually doesn't build more muscle in that one meal, the total amount of protein at the end of the day matters a lot, because there's not just muscle building, there's actually all the other tissues that need protein as well. And what happens if you do not have enough protein, you don't eat enough? Where's the body going to get it from? The only place where it can get from is to break down muscle and take proteins from there, which is obviously the opposite of what we want. We don't want our muscle being broken down. We don't want to be losing muscle. We want to be not only keeping that, we want to build more. That's why the amount of muscle, the amount of protein that I suggested is what you should have. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope that it helps. If it does, please click the like button below. Hit that notification bell as well. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.